about could be either a light or a heavy. So putting the Arabic terms in there, so I can have mad kalimi, because word, kalimi mukhaffaf, or mad kalimi muthaqqal. And this here would be mad harfi mukhaffaf or mad harfi muthaqqal. Again, just, and I don't want you to be lost in the terms. Most important is the rules that for us to remember, inshallah. طيب. So let's start with this one here, where we called it kalimi muthaqqal. This is the word based. So we're in this angle here. This is the word based that we'll talk about. So we'll talk about two of these types. Okay. This al-mad al-kalimi al-muthaqqal, or word based, that is heavy, is if a mad letter, again one of those nuhiha, if a mad letter is followed by a letter that has a shadda on top of it. Okay, so we haven't encountered this so far. We talked about sukoon, we talked about hamza, but we did not talk about a mad letter that's followed by a shadda. When that happens, the reader has to prolong this. It is required. You have to make it a 6. So in this case, so let's look at where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the word sakha. Sakha. So we have sad followed by an alif. It's not very kind of clear here, but this is sad followed by an alif. That's a mad tabi'i in itself. That's just a regular natural mad, basic mad. But then the letter kha here actually has a shadda on top of it. When you have that shadda forces you, requires you to actually recite it with a 6 haraka. Okay, so it's lazim. As-sakha. You have to make it a 6. Similarly here, the word tamma, ta, which has a fatha followed by an alif, that's mad tabi'i. But then the meme has a shadda on top of it. At-tamma has to be a 6. Similarly here, dalla or dallan. Dad with a fatha followed by an alif, and then the lam here has a shadda. Lam fahad. Lam fahad. That shadda again forces the 6 counts. Any questions on this? So notice here, what we're dealing with here is within letters. The shadda came with, within a word. The shadda here within a word. The shadda here within a word. This is very similar to the idea of the hamza that we talked about earlier. Right? So we said in al-mad al-muttasil, the one that was connected, we said that so it was just a letter of mad followed by a hamza. So that was 4 or 5. But a shadda, you can imagine, it has, it's shadda, literally what it is that it's a sukoon of one letter followed by another that was mutaharrik, so you combine them into a shadda. So it's actually 2 kha. This shadda is actually in reality 2 kha. The first kha is with a sukoon, the second kha is with a fatha. But when you encounter this in the Arabic language, you actually combine them into 1 kha, but put a shadda on top of it to indicate that they were originally 2 letters. Similarly with the meme, and similarly with the lam, throughout the Quran in a similar way. Numerous examples today, so just let's take the theoretical aspect of it. This is kalimi mukhaffaf. So it's word based. Again, it's word based. But what is happening here is that the harf al-mad that we have is followed by a sukoon. In the other one, it was heavy because there was a shadda with it. It was followed by a shadda. But here, it's followed by just a sukoon. So when you recite this, you don't say al-an, 6. It has to be 6. Al-an. It has to be 6. Again, the letter of mad alif that is followed by the sukoon. Any question? There will be again numerous examples we'll talk about today. No question? Theoretically it's there. So it's these different conditions that encounter the letter of mad. So sometimes it's followed by a sukoon, sometimes it's followed by a hamza, sometimes it's followed by a shadda. Each one of these forces different levels of recitation. تفضل يا أخت منى. Yes. For example, the word Allah. Allah. Actually, there are. Let me take you to a couple of examples. That's just one of them. Yeah, here. You see, this is harf mad, al alif, followed by a lam. That is, when you say Allah, the first one here, forget the second lam here, but the first one here actually has a sukoon on top of it. So when you recite Allah, you don't do just a 2 or a 4. It has to be a 6. Allahu, and then you continue. That's one. Here, another one. قل الذكرين. Again, this is the harf al-mad followed by, forget the shadda here, but the lam actually has a sukoon on top of it. When you recite this, it's a 6. الذكرين, and then you recite as such. It's a 6. Is that okay?
So this is the kalimi mukhaffa?
Yeah, this is the kalimi mukhaffa because it's word based. I'm sorry, again?
If a mad is followed by a
sukoon
letter.
Yes, a letter that has a sukoon on it, it forces a 6 haraka.
And the other one, the muthaqqal was?
Muthaqqal was, yeah, shadda. It's heavy.
Same thing with 6, right?
Exactly.
So that the one above that as well? That,
This one?
yeah.
No. Why? What type of mad is this?
It doesn't have that.
You see, harf al-mad is here, right? Harf al-mad, but the next one is mutaharrik. It's neither a sukoon, nor a hamza, nor a shadda. So in this case, there isn't a 6. The 6 are going to be forced either by a sukoon or by a shadda. The 4 or 5 will be if it's a hamza, but none of those are happening after the letter of mad.
Because the alif wasl is not considered a second, right? Is that why then?
No, yeah, of course, yeah, exactly.
Oh.
And remember, the rule is the letter of mad. It's the letter of mad followed by a sukoon. So here, the letter of mad actually is, in this case, the letter of mad is actually the alif. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Here, this one here, what type of mad is this? We should know this. هذه أبو الحركتين. آدم. We never say or it's just 2 حركة. آدم. Which مد؟ مد ليه؟ لا ما هي الطبيعي. Yeah. This is مد البدل. When the hamza comes before the letter of mad.
So that does apply with the hamzatul wasl? Because I thought you just ignore it.
No. No, they're putting it here so that you don't. Let me show you here. This is referring to this type of mad. Where did mad al-badal today?
Oh, yeah. No, the other way. One more. 2 more the other way.
The other way?
Yes.
You passed it, yeah.
Ya ilahi.
There, one more there.
There you go. This is similar to this one. Ra'ahu.
Okay.
This is similar to it.
The alif in ra'ahu, that won't have the hamzatul wasl,
Oh, you mean that the sila here?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean in this case? Yeah, but in that it should actually be recited. So very good point. Jazakallah khair. Oh, now I see what you're talking about. You're talking about the examples that we gave, right? Yeah. So you're saying no. This actually should be recited. I don't know why they marked it. So actually, it's a copy paste that I got from somewhere else. But it has to be recited. This is mad al-badal. So we don't say Adam. It's Adam.
It shouldn't have that wasl on.
It shouldn't have. Jazakallah. A very good point. Oh yeah. Now I see what you're talking about. Okay. So let's continue. Inshallah, we'll come back to these. So are we okay? Al-mad. So again, just keep in mind it's either a sukoon or a shadda that will actually force that type of extended mad, which is the required mad of 6. Al-an being one of them. طيب. And then we have the other side. So we talked about word-based. Light because of what? Sukoon. Heavy because of shadda. Is that okay? So really, in a nutshell, to simplify it, is that. So when we say followed by, what is followed by? Just to make sure I get this across. Harf al-mad. So if there you have harf al-mad, the letter of mad, followed by a sukoon, it's this one. Harf al-mad, followed by a shadda, it's this one. Okay. Now, what we have is letter-based. Again, that will require six haraka, letter-based. And this letter-based, they actually put it as, again, mukhaffaf and muthaqqal, the light and the heavy. But you will see, by applying the mnemonic, you don't even have to go through that a lot. But let me, just for explanation, let's go through this. It says here, if a mad letter, one of the nuhiha, if a mad letter is followed by a letter that is mushaddad. Now we're talking about, why is this called harfi? Why is it called letter based? Because it's going to apply only to those letters that start with the Quran. So alif, lam, mim, ha, mim, taha, yasin are those disjointed letters that we talked about at the couple of weeks ago. So if you have not a complete word based are any words of the Quran, like all of these are words, and so on these here we will look for the word based. Okay, but on these letters like Ain, Sin, Qaf, Ha, Mim, Alif, Lam, Mim, Yasin, on these, this is going to be the letter based. So on these now, if you happen to encounter, this is harfi, muthaqqal. If you happen to encounter a letter of mad followed by a letter that actually has a shidda on top of it. Again, muthaqqal is always because of a shidda. Okay, muthaqqal is because of a shidda. So in that case, so when we come to recite, the reciter has to do it a 6 haraka. So how is that? So we'll see here, alif, lam, we're doing this. Why am I extending it that much? Because the meme that comes after it actually has a shadda on top of it. So this lam here, this is with this letter based thing, this lam has a meme, and on the meme is a shadda. That shadda forces a 6 mid. Alif, lam, mim, and then sad again. So, but one thing to note, even with this one here, alif, lam, mim, ra, lam, it has to be 6, similar to this. The mnemonic for this is kam asal naqas or naqasa asalukum. Naqasa asalukum, that your asal, your honey has decreased. Naqasa asalukum. Asalukum. Yeah, kam asal naqas. How much of that honey has decreased? Kam asal naqas or naqasa asalukum. So what you need to remember, even for the next one, I mean here the harfi mukhaffaf, notice the harfi mukhaffaf, what they're saying here is if a mad letter is followed by a sukoon, it's the same thing. The muthaqqal and the mukhaffaf is always followed by a sukoon, muthaqqal is followed by a shadda. So if in this case we're reciting and we're saying kaf ha, okay, so when we end at it, remember we said kaf, that's a sukoon. So the letter, this letter itself, it ended, if you were just to stop at it by saying kaf, it just ends with a sukoon. As opposed to the previous example where we said here, we don't say alif lam, no, we say lam mim because of the shadda on the mim. So that part there, whether it's a sukoon or a shadda, will force a 6. The interesting part is, even with the mukhaffaf, when it's followed by a sukoon, it's the same rule, naqasa asalukum. So what do you need to remember to make this simple on you? Very simple. Whenever you have these disjointed letters in the Quran, if it happens to be one of the hayyu tuhr, you will make it 2 haraka. Everything else 6. This is as simple as it gets. So when we recite here, just on this one here, we will do kaf is one of the kam asal naqas. So this is going to be a 6. The ha, it's from hayy tuhur, it's 2. The ya, it's from hayy, ya, it's 2. Ain, it's from asal, it's a 6. Sad, it's from naqas, it's a 6. So if it's not hayy tuhur, everything else is going to be 6. That's really so. So how do we recite this? Somebody want to give me the complete rule on these? Just on this one, kaf, ha, ya, ain, sad. Ajara, go for it. MashaAllah. طيب. Just one thing to note, don't keep that gaps between them. Don't keep, because that's called sekta. And sekta has another rule that we'll talk about at another time. So there shouldn't be gaps. So we cannot say kaf, ha, yeah, we don't, it's almost like a continuum, okay? But you keep those on these 2 haraka, on those, on the rest 6. Okay, let me try. Shamshad, do you want to do this one here? Alif lam mim sad.
Alif lam mim sad.
MashaAllah. Very, very good. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Excellent. Hafsa, you want to try this? Alif lam ra. MashaAllah. Very good, very good. Sister Sarah? طيب. That was not 6. I'm sorry. do a 6 out of it, inshallah, again. Very good, MashaAllah. Very good. I think the idea is there. We're going to have numerous practices on these. The rest are examples. Okay. So we covered all the different types of med that we have in the Quran. So you need to kind of choose how you're going to do a number of these when we do the surah. So we'll do after these kind of words of examples, then we're going to actually do some surahs. So inshallah, I will move around. You guys should be tested with this, even though you might have been asleep, but it's okay. I'll test you. Hazm, I'm not talking to you. No, Allah, I'm just kidding. Allah. طيب يا حبيبي. Let's start with this. Tariq, it's yours. ضالا. طيب, let's. What's the rule on this? What's the rule on this? 6. Why? Okay. No. Let's see. Why is it a 6? Tell me. So we have a fatha followed by an alif. That's mad tabi'i, natural mad. The lam after that has what? Okay. So that's why it causes the. So again, just to make sure, it's not just because there is a shadda. It's the mad after the letter of mad having this. And probably you meant the same thing, but just to make sure we're talking about the same thing. So how many haraka should it be? 6. Al-an, give me 6.
Wait, so it should be 6 on the alif at the end?
Exact on this alif. When you say dha, the letter of mad has to have a 6 on it. Hello. 5 and something, but we'll take it inshallah. Fadi. Next. The next one, dab.
I can't.
Okay, it's again fatha followed by an alif. The ba has a shadda and then a ta. MashaAllah. Jayd. I want you to start to count with your fingers. And I know maybe in salah we don't do that, but you need to practice on this. You need to see how the counts work for you. Dabba. Okay, so it has to be 6, and after a while you don't need to really do this. It just becomes natural. طيب. How about this one? والصافات. Sister Jilan. طب كم المد? So let's see, this is supposed to, I know it's not clear, but صاد with a fatha, there's supposed to be a small alif here to make it صا, but then the fa has a shadda. صافا. أيوه. ما شاء الله جميل جدا جدا. حسام, give me this one.
جاءت الصاخة.
ما شاء الله, beautiful. So how much was the mid on this? 5. On this one, a 6. Excellent, ما شاء الله. Very, very good. Is that okay? This type of mid is what? It's called what? Mid?
It's the hamza within the word.
Within the word. So it's called متصل. المد المتصل. جميل ما شاء الله. طيب شيخنا الفاضل تفضل. فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى. تفضل. أيوة أيوة كبرى. جميل. هذه المفروض كانت 6، أنت أعطيتني 5 تقريبا يعني، بس ماشي. we'll take it for now إن شاء الله. الإكسبرت أعطينا هذه عيدها كذا قراءة جيدة. تفضل.
فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى.
طيب الكاونتينج شوية أوف أخي، معلش عيد معي مرة ثانية.
فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى.
الله يفتح عليك إن شاء الله، جزاك الله خير ما شاء الله. You wanna try one؟ طيب هذه
ألف لام صاد.
جميل. طيب هذه كم؟ الميم كم المفروض؟ هي واحدة. It's not from حي طهر، هي من نقص عسلكم. 6 المفروض. فأعطينا يلا again. طيب you run out of breath but it's good. الحمد لله جزاك الله خير. طيب let's do إن شاء الله rotate. أخت منى إن شاء الله if you can do a number of these. Let's do this one because it has a lot in it. الهاء from حي طهر. طه هاء again. معلش طالوا that's more than 2 there. Yeah, it's supposed to be 2. So if you measured kaf, that should be 3 times as the ha. كاف ها يا عين. تفضل. الله يفتح عليك ما شاء الله. طيب ستر حفصة. ياسين. Yeah. So yeah should be a 2 and the sa should be a 6. So but I want to measure. I'll be counting. Go ahead inshallah. Very good. Yasin. That's okay. Go ahead. MashaAllah, the counting is perfect. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Very good, very good. Sister Ajara, do this one here if you will. Oh, the meme was short. The lam was perfect. They have to be the same length. It has to be, it's a required 6. Repeat, inshallah. ما شاء الله جيد جيد طيب طارق this one here this one حاميم أيوة ما شاء الله continue عين سين قاف أيوة عين عين is not from حي طهر so it has to be 6 it's from the others oh طيب مد is really off you gotta practice a little bit on these Fadi same one this one here 6 I need to count and it's not 6 this is required it's not my rule it's Allah's rule it's required 6 نعم أيوة الله يفتح عليك أيوة كيف how you do it جزاك الله خير جميل فنقول كذا حا 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 هذا بس الحاء فنقول حا حا okay now I'm gonna do the whole thing حا ميم ميم مش كده حميم 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 has to be 6 هذه required 6 فيها حميم عشان so that we don't break في القراءة مثلا proper قراءة حميم عشان we shouldn't be for practice we're saying ح وبعدين بس when you do recitation المفروض ما في سكتة there is no separation between them فتقول حميم 6 تمام طيب طيب somebody this one here we have a number of those coming up inshallah this one جزاء جزاء somebody do this one أخت جيلان طيب how do we stop there this is a tanween with a double fatha it should create when you stop at it جزاك الله خير repeat inshallah try it بس it should create لازم it has to create المد هذا we call it مد العوض مد العوض again جميل الله يفتح عليك إن شاء الله can somebody do this one here سارة الملائكة ما شاء الله beautiful but again just to make sure we apply everything that we've learned when I end with a ha we don't just say ملائكة we say الملائكة when we end all because the ha has to come from the deepest part of the throat okay
Sorry, is this what's that said?
مد المتصل جزاك الله خير very good very good حسام
إنا أعطينا
ما شاء الله you read it 4 or 5
well, it meant to be 5 but
it meant 5 طيب it was close بس ما شاء الله تبارك الله very good and 4 is perfect with it by the way 4 is perfect and again just keep in mind what we talked about at the very beginning when we started this tajweed thing there are 3 levels of qira'ah in terms of speed So there is this tahqiq, which is a very slow type of recitation. And there is what's called al-hadr. And al-hadr is just speedy, very fast kind of recitation. And there is one that's in between. So based on your pace, based on your speed, these mad have to be adjusted according to your speed. So eventually, inshallah, when you recite, just see at what pace you're reciting. And so with those, by saying those letters, you can see how the 4 and the 5 actually work for you, inshallah. إلينا إيابهم. Sister Shamshad.
إلينا إيابهم.
طيب. Now, what is this mad that we have here?
I know it's 2. I just don't
Okay, very good. So we have a noon with a fatha followed by an alif. That's a mad tabi'i. That's a normal mad, right? And then iyabahum, this is a hamza. So how would you do it now?
should be 4. You said right?
Either a 2, a 4, or a 5.
But you said to differentiate from this is mad.
Yes, this is munfasil. Very good, very good. Yeah,
Or just
yeah.
to separate.
Just to separate them. Right, right, exactly.
إلينا إيابهم.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Very, very good. Excellent. طيب. Let's do a number of these and then we do a surah, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, today we have good time for practice. This should be clearer a little bit. Sir Ajara, start with this one. Go ahead, inshallah. MashaAllah. Good try. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Sister Sarah, next one. Yes. MashaAllah. Beautiful. There was no separation between the ya and the sin. A 2 haraka on the ya, the sin 6 haraka. Beautiful, MashaAllah. Yasin. MashaAllah. Beautiful. The word, this is one of the common words in the Quran. 17 times we do this one, right? الضالين. 17 times we do it, minimum a day. Tariq, it's yours. Bo, bo. MashaAllah. Jayd, very good. Fadi, the same one. Allah yaftah عليك. Beautiful. 6. Excellent. MashaAllah. طيب. أخت منى. That's ayah there. جميل. Except for الغنة هنا. معلش عيدي شوي. نعم. الآية. نعم. MashaAllah. Now, you might have meant it. I counted 4 on this. If you meant 5, it was short. I don't know. So you need to decide al-madd al-muttasil. And for example, for myself, I always recite al-muttasil 5, always. And then on al-munfasil, I recite 4. That's me. And so I have some of the mudud that I do 2. Some of them that I do 4, some of them that I do 5, some of them that I do 6, based on what the scholars actually recommend. Okay? طيب. Somebody, Fadi. Ahmed, you want to try this? No. طيب. تفضل أخي. هذا. الله يفتح عليك إن شاء الله. ما شاء الله. أخي عبد الغني. لا حفص. We're in حفص here. ما شاء الله. قالون how does it آلان آلان سبحان الله. جميل ما شاء الله. This is the one that is 6 we mentioned, and it's called kalimi because it's within a word and then followed by a sukoon, so that's a 6 haraka. Kalimi mukhaffaf because it's not a shadda. Muthaqqal becomes with a shadda always, right?
So this is followed by a sakin?
Yeah, this is a sukun. That's how some of the sukuns in the Quran, they put it kind of not in a circle, but it's al-an. طيب, this one here. This is a good one. Who wants to go for this? You want to try it? تفضل يا شيخ. طيب لحظة. Before you go. هذا معنا الفتحة followed by an ألف. بعد الألف لا في همزة ولا في سكون ولا في شدة، يعني make it natural اللي هي حركتين. الله يفتح عليك. ما شاء الله. I got you. Go ahead. أيوة. ما له إيه؟
ما له أخلد.
طيب ما هذه طالت شوية.
ما له
أيوة.
أخلد.
طيب. Now what is this mad here? Somebody else, can somebody try this? أخت جيلان, can you try this? This one here. طيب. المد هذا is حسام, let me try, let me see how you recite this.
ما له أخلد.
ما شاء الله. Why did he make it long? ما شاء الله, جيد. It's without the hamza. Very good. Ajara, go ahead.
Hamza is in the next word.
Yes. You see, without this is what we call مد الصلة, if you remember. مد الصلة, because we have this ha that is kind of marbuta. So مد الصلة is only two haraka, we said. But now that you have a hamza that showed up here, it's gonna force. It becomes kubra. It becomes مد الصلة الكبرى. Originally it's مد الصلة الصغرى. It's the lesser one. But because of the hamza, makes it a bigger one or a greater one. So ما له أخلد.